Let's take you outside right now. A live look from our camera in Long Beach. Meteorologist Kelley Moody is here with a check of the first alert forecast and the warm-up on the way, Kelley.
Yes, a warm-up indeed, Carolyn. I'm looking out from our battleship USS Iowa Cam in San Pedro, where we've got temperatures right now hanging out in the 50s. Calm winds, it's quiet. Those winds are going to play a role in things over the next couple of days as we continue to work on that warm-up. Now, I did want to take you to the coast specifically because we've been talking all about our high tides and rip currents. We've still got this beach hazard statement highlighted there in the turquoise down the coast towards Seal Beach. This is in place with us until tomorrow morning. That key time for it being between 8 and 10 a.m. when we expect to see some of those highest tides. So keep this in mind. We've been seeing those king tides over the last several days. We're likely to see them again come January, early January. So we'll be talking about that over the next couple of weeks. In terms of conditions at the coast, you can expect your temperatures in the 60s for your Saturday and Sunday. A little bit of morning fog for your Sunday. Sunny skies all around. Otherwise, though, with 70s for the Los Angeles Basin, Orange County, Valleys, Inland Empire. And those 70s are on the rise soon. We're talking mid-80s. I'll tell you about when you can expect those coming up. Carolyn?
All right, we'll see you then. Yeah, it's busy out there. And a live look from our camera in Universal City tonight. Meteorologist Kelley Moody is here with a look at the first alert forecast for us and the changes that are on the way, Kelley.
Some very warm changes for December. We're going to be watching our temperatures shoot on up into the 80s for some spots. So that's a pretty significant warm up for this time of year, 10 to 15 degrees above normal. And that pretty much goes for everyone across Southern California, including our friends, of course, in San Pedro, where we're looking outside there, our battleship USS Iowa Cam. I also want to make sure that no matter where you're spending your weekend, that you spend it safely. So I want to talk a little bit about air quality. We have gotten another air quality alert from the South Coast Air Quality Management District, and this is something that we saw last weekend and in the days following into the early part of this last week. It's to account for what we're expecting to be mostly moderate air quality, but some spots could be considered unhealthy, especially for sensitive groups. So keep this in mind over the next couple of days. Let's talk a little bit more about that air quality alert. You can see all of us included in this, except those of you who are above 3,000 feet in elevation. Now, this will be in place all day through your Saturday. And I know we're talking about comfortable temperatures, and that tends to drive people outside. But if you are somebody who's asthmatic or just a bit more sensitive, you might want to consider staying indoors. These smaller particulate matters that we're going to be working with could be a bit hazardous for you. And of course, this is also our no burn ban. So make sure that you, as much as you may want to be roasting chestnuts on the open fire, whatever it is, I would just save it because we are working with that no burn ban for right now. Now, temperatures are going to be warming up even more so in the days to come, as we've been talking about. For spots like Corona, Saturday, Sunday in the mid to upper 70s. Then we shoot up to the mid 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday. Arguable which day will be our warmest. It sort of just depends on where you are. And that's not just for the Inland Empire. It's not just for the coast, as we were talking about before. It's all around. Even for Burbank, a normal temperature for Wednesday would be 66 degrees, but I'm expecting this upcoming Wednesday that will be in the mid 80s. So everyone's going to be feeling the heat, except those of us off to the northeast, where we are well below normal. It's quite the narrative to have two pockets of such intense temperature differentiation. And of course, our pocket is going to continue to remain above normal as we look even 6 to 10 days out. That's where this data is pulling from the Climate Prediction Center, looking at December 11th to December 15th. So we can see how that plays out then when we look on our first alert 7-day forecast. 70s expected for this weekend for Saturday, Sunday. 60s at the coast, though. Some morning fog, like I mentioned, for your Sunday morning as well as Monday morning. But then look at those temperatures, more mid to upper 70s at the coast in December. A little off, don't you think? The low 80s expected for your Tuesday and Wednesday for areas a little bit farther inland. Valleys and the Inland Empire looking at even warmer temperatures up into those mid 80s by the time we make it to the middle of next week. High desert and the low desert both going to be warming up as well by a good 10 to 15 degrees by the time we make it to our Tuesday and Wednesday, when that high pressure really looks to be peaking. Could come with some Santa Ana winds that could include some mountain passes. So that's something we will certainly be tracking in the days to come. James, what's going on in sports? We are taking a look at what you can expect as we get ready for a nice day ahead. Temperatures a little bit warmer than what you may have felt for yesterday. So West Covina at 71 degrees this afternoon, still holding on to those mid to upper 60s for Oxnard and Thousand Oaks, 68 degrees in Lancaster. But overall, we're continuing to watch these temperatures rise. And rise they will, even warmer in the days to come. Well, today I expect a daytime high of 70 degrees in San Bernardino with nice sunny skies. We're about to see a spike in those temperatures up to the 80s by the time we make it to next Tuesday. Again, that's a 10-degree jump. Some spots could be looking at a 15-degree jump as we look ahead toward Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll talk more about that, plus some alerts you need to know about coming up.
Working hard this month to bring joy to families across the world. This morning, a few of those elves with the Los Angeles Trial Lawyers charities are set to help more than 500 families in need. NBC4's Annette Arriola live in the historic South Central.
Let's talk about what's considered normal for this time of year. 66 degrees in Burbank. But as we look ahead toward the middle of next week, I expect we'll be in the 80s in Burbank. And that's not the only spot. A lot of places are really going to be warming up over the next several days. As we look around to the coast, not quite as big of a warm up yet. Saturday expecting to be sunny with temperatures in the mid 60s, mid to upper 60s for your Sunday with some morning fog. We'll keep that morning fog around as we look ahead toward your Monday as well. But you can see getting a little bit warmer there up into the low to mid 70s. Now, as we continue over the next couple of days, we'll still see those cool mornings and cool nights with dry conditions. Those clear skies really don't give us much of a blanket to trap any heat at the surface. So our temperature differentiation gets pretty big. We've still got some risks at the coast. We've been talking all about a beach hazard statement earlier this week, a high surf advisory. There is a higher risk for rip currents, especially between that window of 8 to 10 a.m. That's really when the surf is expected to be the highest and the tide the highest. So be aware of that. And then those temperatures, those are really on the rise. And that's the big weather story, right? We are going to continue to watch those warm up into the 70s and 80s over the next several days, with some spots expected to be 15 degrees above normal for this time of year. That's not December weather, but we'll still track it for you. I'll have a look at what you can expect over the next several days and more on what's causing this coming up.
All right, sounds nice. Still ahead on Today in LA Weekend, 3 schools locked down after police say this man right here stole a car and threatened to harm students. We'll break down what happened that led to the manhunt and arrest. Plus, a woman arrested twice for murder, finally convicted nearly 8 years later. The story developing out of Rolling Hills Estates. And the CDC is... World-renowned architect Frank Gehry died at his home in Santa Monica yesterday. His designs shaped the urban landscape of Los Angeles. And NBC4's Jonathan Gonzalez has a look back at his remarkable career and lasting legacy.
We are looking forward to warmer temperatures in the days ahead, and part of that has to do with high pressure that is building, and that's going to trigger our light Santa Anas, and at times they might get a little bit stronger, so we'll be keeping an eye on those over the next couple of days. How warm will we get? Well, for the weekend, we are going to be looking at temperatures in the 60s and 70s, but as we look ahead toward the middle of next week, that's when we could easily be seeing those temperatures warming 10 to 15 degrees above normal. This is data from the Climate Prediction Center. I love showing this to you, especially when it looks like this, because there's a big difference between what's happening in the Northeast, where we're expected to be well below normal for this time of year, and the desert Southwest, where we will continue to be well above normal. This is looking at the stretch 6 to 10 days from now. So we're talking more so like December 11th to the 15th. That's when we will really be seeing some of those spikes in temperature. And you can see it reflected with temperatures like this for Woodland Hills, low 70s for your weekend into the upper 70s by Monday and Tuesday, low 80s by Wednesday, and that is expected to be the day of our peak heating after that leveling out in the mid to upper 70s. Temperatures like this send folks outside, but there is some caution that you should take, especially if you fall into one of our more sensitive groups. So maybe if you're somebody who has health issues, small children, if you're asthmatic. We do have an air quality alert from the South Coast Air Quality Management District, and this is all day for today. This means we should not be doing any burning, and I know everyone wants to get cozy by the fire. higher, but today is not the day. Those of you who are above 3,000 feet in elevation, this does not apply to you. Our air quality for today is expected to be moderate at best for the most part. Better air quality out east, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some pockets in here that pop up in that category that we refer to as unhealthy for sensitive groups. That's the orange. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this for you because we are expecting some pretty fine particulate matter in the atmosphere to be out there. So not the best time to be doing any outdoor workouts. Go ahead, stay indoors. You got plenty to do, I'm sure. You got to decorate the house. We are going to see temperatures in the low 70s outside, though, for the Los Angeles Basin, inland Orange County, 60s at the coast. I am expecting we'll see some fog for your Sunday and Monday morning, so we'll continue to keep an eye on those conditions. And then the big warm-up happens. Take a look at the valleys, the Inland Empire, warming on up into those 80s by the middle of next week. We're going to keep the sunshine around. It is dry. We're not talking about a lot of cloud cover. We're not talking about rain. We're only really talking about a little bit of wind here and there, though Santa Ana's continuing to drive up our temperatures into the mid-70s for the high desert, up into the mid to even possibly mid to upper 80s for the low desert. Again, unusual for this time of year, but that's what we got. We are going to see 50s warming on up into those 60s for the mountain communities. Again, lots of melting happening, not really going to be keeping a lot of snow on the ground with these kind of conditions. But, you know, we might have some changes on the horizon eventually. So, of course, keep on tuning in as we track those conditions. Let's give you a look at what you can expect weekend-wise. We're keeping it dry. We're keeping it quiet. Temperatures in the 60s at the coast. We might have a little bit of fog for tomorrow morning. 70s for the Los Angeles Basin and Orange County, as well as the valleys and Inland Empire, and a little bit cooler in our mountain communities with temperatures in the 50s. Let's talk about that warming trend ahead, though. We'll see some of it for this weekend, but it really arrives for next week. Take a look at this. This is for Riverside. An average temperature in Riverside for this time of year would be in the upper 60s, but we are far from it. Low 70s for today. Mid to upper 70s for Sunday, low 80s expected by the time we make it to Monday. And that's only the beginning because the peak heating is expected Tuesday, Wednesday. And that's when I expect temperatures for spots like Riverside and the Inland Empire up into the mid to upper 80s. So we'll continue to track those conditions for you coming up, plus a bit of a check on an air quality alert.
Well, what you didn't see in Kelley's forecast is the snow in South LA. Wink, wink. That's because Santa Claus is coming to town this morning. This is all part of the Los Angeles Trial Lawyers Charity's 10th annual Comfort and Joy event. Okay, let's check in with Santa's helper, Annette Ariola, there with the...
We've got some changes to tell you about this morning. We are going to continue to watch our temperatures warm on up for this weekend into the 60s and 70s, but much warmer temperatures are on the horizon. We're talking 10 to 15 degrees above normal. But even with those warmer temperatures, you should be cautious if you're planning on spending a lot of time outside over the next couple of days. We have another air quality alert to tell you about that also includes a mandatory wood burning ban, which is a fun thing to say at this hour. An air quality alert in place for you all day through Saturday. Now, I know we all want to get roasty toasty next to the fire. Was it chestnuts roasting on an open fire? But today is a no burn day. We can't burn our wood, our pellets, our fire logs, indoor, outdoor. This does not apply to those of you who may be above 3,000 feet in elevation, but it's because we've got a lot of fine particulate matter in the atmosphere. And that could be a bit of an issue if you're someone who's asthmatic, young children, older adults. So keep that in mind. Our air quality for today is mostly expected to be moderate. I wouldn't be surprised, though, as we head into the afternoon hours if we start to see some of those areas pop up with that orange color, which is an indication of unhealthy for sensitive groups. So that's a bit of a category there for our air quality that we always like to be extra cautious with. So some moderate air quality and air quality that is going to continue to get warmer and warmer. We got high pressure that is dominating the region over the next several days, really looking to peak on Tuesday and Wednesday. And as it does, our temperatures will rise. This is the temperature trend that we are expecting to see for Santa Clarita. You can see as we warm into those upper 70s for your at least Sunday and Monday, we quickly watch them just skyrocket into the low 80s for Tuesday and Wednesday. That is so far and above what's considered normal for this time of year. Definitely feeling that warm up in the days to come. And it's not just Santa Clarita, it's everywhere, folks. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on your First Alert 7-day forecast. 70s expected for this weekend. Upper 70s rolling into low 80s for the Los Angeles Basin and inland Orange County, as well as the coast up into the mid to upper 70s at that point, continuing to move into those 80s by by the middle of next week. We keep the warm temperatures around, even make them a little bit warmer for the valleys in the Inland Empire. The farther inland you go, the more likely it is that you'll be running into temperatures possibly even making it into the mid-80s by the middle of next week. But again, this weekend still pretty nice with temperatures hanging out in the mid to upper 70s. High desert, low desert, all the desert going to continue to warm on up from the upper 60s into the mid 70s by the middle of next week. We'll keep the sunshine around. Low desert going from the mid to upper 70s into the low to mid 80s by the middle of next week. Wednesday going to likely be that warmest day of the week, so keep that in mind. It doesn't matter where you are in our area, because you can see there, even the mountains, you can't escape 50s into 60s. That is definitely going to be a little bit warmer for this time of year than I know a lot of the folks up in the mountains would like. We'll have more after the break. Stay with us. I've got one final look for you at the temperatures expected for today. We're looking mostly at upper 60s and low 70s. 60s down toward Oxnard, Lancaster in the upper 60s. We're going to keep those low 70s for Orange County cities, Anaheim and Irvine. 70s as we look farther inland, with temperatures expected to warm into the 80s as we get into the next several days. We are continuing to work with some cool mornings. We've got our king tides through today. Those are pretty high tides for us, so keep it cool over by the coast. Santa Ana winds will be back with us over the next couple of days as we continue to warm things up.